Hello, I'm Gapwin back in Planet Explorers, and things are glitching out. Look at my sword. Awesome textureless sword of doom and evil smiting and things. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Today I'm here to talk about vehicles, because I just started playing with vehicles, and behind me is my first attempt at making a vehicle ever. Isn't it pretty? And yes, I know it's not a very good vehicle. And I don't know what the overloaded means because it still seems to go. Oh, that thing is loud. So this is my first attempt at making a vehicle. It's made of pure diamond. And it's solid all the way through. I just wanted to test a couple things about making vehicles, like whether your seat intersecting anything made a difference and whether your head popped out or, any of those things. But I now have created a vehicle to my satisfaction. But this is not what I wanted to make. I wanted to do this for some tests. I wanted to show you the first attempt I had at making a land vehicle. And then I wanted to pop into the creation system, that is the word I was going for there, and make a truck that I had a better idea for. I thought that if I'm going to make a vehicle for this rugged alien terrain, what better than the Mako from Mass Effect? So I'm going to jump over into the creation system, and we're going to try making ourselves a Mako. Alright, we are back in the creation system, and while it defaults to sword, we don't want a sword, we want a Mako. So we're going to create character, vehicle, and unfortunately we need to do a large. I don't know that I wanted a super large one, but I was doing a couple of size experiments when I built that other car, and it's just not going to fit if we don't have the large vehicle. Which is unfortunate, but that's just how these things go. So if I look at my reference photo, I'm going to put one up in the corner. This isn't going to be exact, but I'm looking at a couple reference photos just to get an idea. And the first thing I want to start with is the wheels, since everything has to kind of work around those. Because I need the wheels for the... excuse me, something in my throat today. I'll try to edit out as much coughing as possible. There's something... all the wheels... What the heck was my point? The wheels are kind of the base. We need to know where the wheels are to build the rest of it, because they're kind of my measuring guide. And I just need to... The only challenging thing with that is going to be deciding how wide it needs to be, but the Mako is pretty wide. So I turned on my symmetry, because the thing about all land vehicles is they have tires on both sides. I know, I feel it's a failing in land vehicles. Well, I guess except for motorcycles. Motorcycles don't. I'm going to use these rubber tires. Or should I use the large rubber tire? We're going to use these large rubber tires. Hello. And hopefully that'll let the thing climb mountains. I actually was inspired to do this. I was inspired by Reddit. I know, it's a weird thing. I'm still getting over the shock as well. So I was inspired to do this by a post on Reddit where someone... Is that the inside or the outside of that tire? I really can't tell. I think it might be the outside. Let's put it on the other side. Anyway, someone posted a truck that could climb straight up mountains. Which I thought, all well and good. I'm pretty sure I put them on backward again. Alright, we're gonna look at this. Good. Someone made a truck that was climbing up mountains. And I thought, fine, a truck that can climb up mountains. Great, that looks fine. But there is a truck that can climb up mountains. It's better than that truck. Their truck was great, don't get me wrong. Their truck was very well done. I liked all the detailing on it they went through. They didn't go through how to build it super well, I felt, but their truck was done very well. And I really enjoyed the look of it, but it was no Mako. Let me trash talking before the thing's even done. So there's a tire arrangement. And we're going to double check. This says it is a left tire, and we want that to be a right tire, and we want it to steer. And then this one is a left tire, and we also want that to be a steering tire. Good, so we need to change all of these. Oh, right tire, and then left tire, left tire. So this is the outside. That's good, because it looks cooler. I was wondering about that. It should look way cooler than that, shouldn't it? So anyway, the body of the Mako starts about halfway up the tires if you look at it. One of the reasons that I chose the Mako is because there's no organic shapes on the thing, which I very much like. So I want the body to start about halfway up. I think I'm going to actually draw out where the frame of the body is going to go first. So if we look at it, the pointy bit at the front starts about where the tires end, so we're going to go a little back from that. And everything's a little in from the tires for the most part down here, so we're going to start about here. And it's mirrored, so I don't need to worry. Oops. It's mirrored, so I don't need to worry about getting it right on both sides, just the one. We're going to start it about here, and we're going to go all the way back like that. Of course, it would help if I actually got... Oh, am I using the wedge? Whoops, I didn't mean to be using the wedge. I meant to be using the block. No wonder that looked weird. Alright, that's completely my fault. Using the block, we're going to start about here. We're going to go all the way back. And we're going to go out to the middle. Which still didn't meet in the middle. I find this strange and worrying. I don't know, there we go. Now it's met in the middle. It's got this weird thing in the back. Who cares? And that's going to be the main part. I actually want the cockpit to be a little forward in the underslung bit. Did I start with everything too far forward? I think I did. Alright, we're going to take this out. And we're going to move everything back. Why did I start it so far up there? We're going to move all the tires back to the middle. Sorry about this, but mistakes are part of the building process, and I keep them in. You can let me know in the comments if you want me to skip more of my mistake making. But I think it is an important part of the building. Those should be slightly further forward. Like that. Yes, about like that, I think. It's not going to be exact, but I need enough room for some minor detailing in here. It goes down and over, it goes woonsy, etc. Just like that. It makes that noise, everything. Alright, back to materials, aluminum. I might change out, I'm hoping that I can use this in my single player world, which, actually I wanted to talk to you all about my single player world, because I want to show some, but I've been showing tried to show a little bit of the quest line, and that's so boring. So I was wondering what you guys thought of me doing some building in the single player world. So basically I'd skip a lot of the story, and I'd just spend some time getting materials and building and doing things like that. And hopefully that would be more interesting for everyone. Alright, I want it to be forward and up very slightly. The bottom thing actually, the bottom one actually goes up to about the top of the tires. Now just above, around the top of the tires, and then it's got another curve going back that way. Well, that's pretty good for the front so far. We're going to bevel the edges a little bit later, of course. And then we want to hollow this thing out as much as we can, because I want to cut down on the weight. So I want to make sure that the interior is pretty well hollowed out. Definitely not perfect, but something like that. The interior is the interior. I don't have any plans to give this vehicle an interior. Then I want the cockpit up here. I know it doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I just want it up here all the same. And I'm actually going to leave a reference point right in the middle here. Put a little thingy of copper on each side, so that's the middle. And I want this to be, let's put my reference thingy up here. I want my driver's seat to be about there. There we go. And since I'm hoping to be able to use this in the multiplayer if I get a chance, I'm going to put in a couple of side seats. Maybe 4. Just heading back this way. There, why not? Mako's supposed to be a crew carrier. Oops, that's not the right button. I've been hitting, been playing a game called Factorio, and Q is the clear what you're holding button in that game. So I'm kind of hardwired for that now. Alright, back to materials. Now that's in there, and that's fine. Now we need to sort of add the other... Yeah, let's add the other unci. Wedge, that's the word. That's the word I was going for. Ignore my weird talk. And that actually ends about the same point on the vehicle. Maybe a little further back, but it's a lot shallower of an angle. So we want to go to about, let's call it about there. That needs to just cover up the top of the driver here. Much shallower. Up. Yeah, about there. That looks right. Except for that it's well, I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, that looks weird. If I'm gonna be messing with it later, so I want to make sure. And just covering the driver, so about there. That's too even, isn't it? Yeah, much too even. Much too even. Alright, one more go. Oops, come on. This time we're gonna get it right. Just covering the driver. It's very, very flat on top. There we go. Then I apologize if you can hear some random, there's some weird random honking and partying or something going on. I don't know why. And let's just clear this out so I have headroom. I don't think headroom matters. In fact, I know headroom doesn't matter because I did the experiment. But I also want to make sure that my head's not going to go popping through the top of this thing. I had to pause briefly there while a really weirdly loud musical motorcycle went by. Alright, so just to make sure that that we're not accidentally popping out of this thing, I'm going to move it down a couple. Okay, so the bottom is still above the bottom of the Mako here. But the top should now have more clearance to make sure the character's head doesn't pop out when we're sitting in the thing. And I still want to hollow it out as much as possible, just to keep the weight down. So like I said, the interior on this thing is going to be kind of ugly. Now it's time to make the majority of the body, and the majority of the body is actually just going to be a rectangle going back that we then hollow out later. So, oops, make a rectangle. I'm going to start it. Let's make sure we're starting on the actual bottom of the vehicle here. I'm going to move all the way to the back, all the way to the middle, and then halfway up. There, now it looks like a sort of wedge-shaped school bus. Now we're just going to hollow out the middle. This should not take as long, except that I did not. Can I turn on the grid? How do I turn on the frickin' grid? Ah, there we go. Laser grid. Oh, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, this is the plus button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10. And we're going to still be working with the edges a little bit, so give ourselves some leeway. And just bonk out the middle like that. There we go. And I guess we should maybe move these chairs so that they are not getting squished. Or levitating. If we're going to be... I don't know, if we're going to have the chairs there, I guess they shouldn't levitate. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So far so good. We're going to want to really pay attention when we're putting on this next bit, because I want to know how long it is exactly. This is going to be 66 long. And then up to the top. Good, now this time I want to take out 66 of the middle. Not 50. 66 in the middle, just like that. And that gives us our interior compartment, which might be a little small. We'll have to see. It does slope up a little harshly on this side, so I think I'm going to give us a little more room. But there, now they don't have to hit their heads. And keep the weight down, that's the main thing. So I really want to just be able to cut off the top at this point. So we're going to, we're going to use the shift. We're going to just add a little bit of a cut on the top here. Give us more of that Mako shape. And that seems to be pretty much working on the way down. I do need to, it's going to be weird carrying it down this way, but it seems to be working okay so far. Yeah, because we need to make sure that we can carry it back along this angle without too much trouble. This is going to be the hardest part of the build, is to make sure we get this right. That's not right. It's already looking decent, but I really need to get rid of a little bit along here. Nope, too far. It's just going to be a matter of getting rid of the right number of squares back. Actually, doing it the other direction seems to work better, doesn't it? Oops, that's a hole. Playing around here to determine what this angle is too. It's not good enough. So we're going to go back up, get our 100 out here, and turn off the feather. Just gonna start working our way down. And that does give it a better profile, though I still need to feather this out a little bit and figure out how to do that. But we'll do that last after we've gotten some of the bottom worked out. The bottom actually comes down to this strange kind of two-prong angle here. I want to take off this little corner, I think. Like that. want to take off this whole area there and replace it with, and then let's see, take out this bit here. I think I actually want to replace that with a long wedge going up the side. And start from... where should I start it from? Now we'll start it from here. On which direction is my wedge going? And my wedge to go that way. Start it there, bring it all the way to the back. And up. Ah, that's the shape I need on the bottom. So I need to do a little bit of fill right here. My problem is that I need to bring the feather down as we go, so I need to start with about 5-ish here and get these couple. Like that. Then we'll go down to 4. Giant freaking truck goes by. Ugh. Bad timing on the traffic today. Anyway, I got another chip that I kind of like. It's not perfect. Obviously, some lumpies, I see some weird things, but until they put in a better way to deal with some of that than a single box editor, and until I get slighted out with the danged feathering tool, that's going to do. It's not the best. I will admit it's not the best, but works for my porpoises. That's good old porpoises. Alright, still kind of a nice little roundy curve going down. The front doesn't look exactly right, which I'm not sure what to do about. I think I actually know what to do about the front. We're going to do a little thing to try to make the front feel a little more Mako-y. That's a little more Mako-y. articulated. I could spend forever getting the right curve on that. But I don't want to. Basically, that's what it comes down to. We'll see how bad it looks after I paint it. If there's too much obvious, I might spend a little more time smoothing out this curve. The Mako actually has a little bit of a underslung curve thing going on here. The main thing I want to work on now is these two side parts. They have little... well, the first thing actually is to make the bit that connects the tire up. Because there's actually, if I look at my picture here, there's some strut sort of, sort of strut connector things that go almost straight out from the side, really. And then connect, because it's kind of a shock absorption system. That's the word I'm going for. Weird that that's dependent on camera angle. It's kind of nice in its own way, but it's still a little weird. Yeah, that'll do for that part, and then I don't know if I should add the extra bit. I think we're just going to leave it as a single. Right now. The shock absorbers will not be on this version. But come on, I weirded out where my view was. Alright, now we just need to add the same thing to these two, but hopefully do it a little better because we've got practice. There, and these wound up, what, nowhere near the tires? Yeah, let's hide parts. Whoa, what is that? Let's get rid of some of that there. That's not what I wanted. At least it's inside of the tire, so you can't see too much of it, but that's just weird. Alright, that's much better. And these ones we just want to select all these and move them into the tires a little bit. There, and the tires are big enough it actually covers up some. So now it looks like the car is actually connected to the tires. A little inexpertly, I'll grant you. I am going to add some shock absorber looking things, because that just looks ridiculous the way it is now. It doesn't look great on the shock absorber front, but it looks better than not having anything. And you have to remember that we're looking at it at a weird scale in the editor. You're never really sure exactly what it's going to look like when you pop out till you do. And then this one should be about there. Alright, good. And if I felt like doing this better, I would turn on my other mirror editor and put it right there in the middle. But you know what, this will do. A lot of the detail on this is going to get hidden by the tires no matter what I do. Which is part of knowing what you're doing anytime you're making these kinds of things. Like what's actually detail that's going to show up and what's going to be too hard to see, so I don't need to spend a huge amount of time doing it. You just need to decide where you want to spend your time. Let's turn parts back on. And there, now we've got some shock absorber looking things that look much better. I just need to add a couple on here. That time I decided to use the extender controls where you hold shift and use the direction keys. There you go. Worked pretty well. I feel like I might have got some better stuff over there. And I also want to extend this part out because these tires turn and I don't know how much they're going to show when they do turn. I want to cut this one off a teeny bit because I extended it too far. There. Now I just need to add, extend this curve down. I'm going to extend this down into the little runner that goes between the tires. There's a little cover that goes in between them that gives it its part of its shape. That's not looking too bad. Goes up, and then I need to cut off a little bit of the back, because this actually has some wingy things. And the back actually goes up in a what do you call it? Angle there. So I'm actually going to use a trick here. I'm going to put this about at the bottom of the car. I'm going to make just a kind of plate of aluminum that goes from there up, then starting at the tire, just above the tire. Now just back from the tire it goes up and over, which might cut off part of this thing, but that's fine for right now. So I'm going to really increase the depth, and then we're going to select from here up at an angle this way. Yep, which takes off that. It does take off part of the tire, but that'll be easy enough to put back. Now before I do that, there's a couple of things. Since I'm not planning on having an interior, I can in fact just take the parts, get my, let's get a vehicle engine type 3, and I guess I only need one of the things. Can I stick it into here somewhere, or is the seat too far forward? The seat's too far forward for that. So this is just going in here. This is too bad. And I wasn't planning on having an interior, but I didn't really want to just shove whatever wherever. Oops, I'm on fuel cell. Let's just put in a couple fuel cells. Like that. Now we close up the interior. And there's a couple little sort of detail-y parts on top that we could use. But first we need to put on one of these important parts. A cannon. Let's see if we can find the right kind of cannon. Control turret. Seems huge. Oh, good freaking god. But I might be able to shrink it down a little bit. Rapid fire turret. Better but wrong look. Let's do a front turret. That looks pretty good. Turn off XY. Put it about midship there. Turn this back on. And now we want to move this over. R1? Yeah, so that's right in the middle. I think. No. Is that always right in the middle? I don't think there is right in the middle for this gun. And what we want to do, position model visible. Like, type of cannon, left, right. Huh. So we can't actually make it bigger or smaller. Was hoping we could make it bigger. There's only one of them, right? Yeah, there's only one of them. I'll move it up a little bit since we can't make it bigger. That's unfortunate. And yeah, I could draw my own cannon, but I don't think it's going to look as good. Well, I might try. Now let's try putting a little bit of a cannon on here. Cannon's actually a pretty integral part of this whole thing. And I think I figured out a way to do it that won't be too terrible. You know what? This turret is not working out at all. I would rather have this turret on top and lose out on a little bit of the detail than have that terrible thing that I just drew up there. So that's what we're going to use. Now I just want to add a couple of the little details in back here. If I take a look at some of the pictures. Yeah, there's actually a couple of little slants and things going up on the back here that create sort of a wing effect. This is definitely not going to be exact to the Mako, but I want to add a few little frills and things. Maybe a cutout or two, just to make it look a little less flat on top. But I know that I can't match some of the detailing with my skill in the system. Needs a little bit of detail to break up the lines. Need to break up any of those big straight lines. Now we're gonna go into paint the thing. Which will be interesting. White and red paint job, obviously. I'm going to skip over most of the paint job. The only thing is I'm going to try to put some of the red racing stripe looking things on and fill in some of these details and stuff with black to make it look decent, and maybe put a few random black lines, extra the black lines and things. So I think I'm going to just speed through a lot of the painting. I feel like this build is turning out decent. Okay, I'm the first to admit things got a little weird in the paint job. I really want to spend some time on the paint job later, but I also wanted to finish the frickin' thing sometime, today. Maybe I didn't give myself enough time for this build, but I think overall, even with a bit of a weird paint job, it doesn't look terrible. We're going to jump into the game and see how this thing actually works. Now we got to test our car, and we couldn't test a Mako on that fertile grassland. No, we had to come to these weird mountains, and these are some weird mountains, and look at that. I'm not even sure if I can go down there without dying, but we're gonna find out. Also, I just figured out, did you know that if you double tap a key, you can... Oh, come on, I did it a second ago. I double tapped one of my keys and I wound up rolling. Now it's not doing it, of course. Oh well, there's apparently a roll command, which I didn't know. There it is. Okay, you have to be in combat mode. But if you're in combat mode, you can roll, which, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Anyway, we exported our Mako. Here it is, and we're going to give it a quick test. Wow, that thing is big. The colors get a little muddy. If anybody wants to rebuild this thing with better colors, you're welcome to it. Just let me know. I'll send the file to you or put it up on the ISO share. So I really would put it on the ISO sharing with this though. So if anybody wants to improve the paint job, I will send it to you. Just request in the comments. All right, look, so far working pretty well, but I do want to test it on some mountains if we can find any. There's a river. Or a lake? I don't know. We're gonna try going back around and driving down the side of one of these. This definitely has a side of a mountain, so let's see how our Mako performs going up and down cliffs. So far, so good. Okay then, look at that. We can definitely go sideways down the cliff. We stick right to the wall. This thing must have a Mass Effect field. Well, there we have it. The good old Mako. Going up and down impossible cliffs since 2005, I think it was, or 6, 5 or 6. I can't remember when the original Mass Effect was. Whoa! Now we're stuck. Oop, nope. Now we got out. We got out of the hole. Alright, I think we are stuck in a hole. But so far, successful test. I like it, except for the paint job. I think the paint job wound up a little wonky. But other than that, I think it turned out to be a fairly successful model. I might go back and play with the paint job. I don't know exactly what to do with it. If anybody wants to repaint it, let me know. Yeah. In the meantime, more Planet Explorer stuff, more other things. Oh yeah, do let me know. Anyone who watches my Planet Explorer stuff, let me know. I want to find the wingsuit and things. Let me know if you're interested in seeing me do some building in the main game. Not really story missions and things, but actual building houses and other things that aren't just vehicles and stuff, because I'm kind of interested in doing that, and I want to know if you're interested in watching that. So let me know. I might do it anyway, but it'd be nice if some of you were expressed an interest. Where's that rocket pack? Sorry, I'm getting distracted looking for a rocket pack. Anyway, so if anyone's interested, do let me know. In the meantime, I hope that you enjoy my other videos. You can like this if you liked it. You can subscribe if you feel like seeing more. And you can share around if you really want to make me feel special. Haha. In the meantime, I'm Gefwin. I do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.